This is the Dery Brothers Tribecast, a podcast for diehard Cleveland Indians fans. Presented to you by WaitingForNextYear.com. Now, here are the hosts, Matt and Todd Dery.
All right, everybody, let's do this on a Monday, another new week. It is indeed the Dery Brothers Spiders Cast. Yeah.
Hey now.
Matt and Todd with you on the Tribecast on WaitingForNextYear.com, brought to you by the Center for Advanced Dentistry, Ben Hornstein. Did Dr. Ben, by the way, hear his shout-out on 92.3 last week?
I don't know. I have not spoken to him this week. I'll see him soon, though. I got an appointment on the books, so I'll have to ask him. I'm sure he did, though, because he's one of your biggest fans.
We're on Thursday, by the way. I'm filling in again with Andy Baskin on The Fan, but we're talking about the Tribe, and certainly we got so much to discuss, Todd, when it comes to name change, which it appears is going to happen. We'll get people our thoughts on it, as well as workouts starting. Teams having to close down workouts already due to COVID and not getting testing back. We'll get into that. All of that today right here on WaitingForNextYear.com. If you get the podcast on Apple, please subscribe. iTunes, like us on Spotify. And everything else. But, Todd, it's been a wild week, and we had to do a show here. The name change stuff, Indians appears gone. I'm mixed on it. I'll be very honest with you. I'm very mixed on it. I get it. I understand it. Doesn't mean I have to like it, though.
I agree with you. When Tito came out with his comments, which basically said, the short version of Tito's comments was, it's time. And if you listen to the long version, he said, I've been around, this is a guy who's been around, and he's been around baseball for a long time. And those who have been, those who don't know and haven't been inside the clubhouse or interviewed him or have been around him on a daily basis, you talk to a guy like Zach Meisel, talk to Paul Hoynes or Mandy Bell. These people will tell you, Tito, he's great with the media, and he's always super honest. But in those private moments, and, Andre Knott says this all the time, too. In those private moments, Tito's not exactly, Mr. PC out there, right? But even Tito can see that, in 2020, in today's environment, now is time for a change. And I'm okay with it. I really am. And, I can say this. A team like the Indians, an organization where, they're losing, I'm not saying they're losing fans by the day, but, they're third in this dying city to begin with. They are one of the worst attendance teams in Major League Baseball. They have an ownership who is millionaires, not billionaires, and cannot use this team as their toy. And really every dollar they make is, they need. And so this is an opportunity, number one, to change things for them. And number two, you're about to embark on hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in new revenue with all of the with the name change and the new gear. Because I know you when they and you know me. You and I are both buying stuff right away. I don't care what the team name is. They come up with a new logo, or whatever, and their new hat. You don't think I'm getting that? Of course.
But see, that shouldn't be. But I get that, and you're exactly right. That's business, and I guess it's smart business, and I guess it would be an opportunity to line Dolan's pockets a little bit more, and it would be smart for anybody who owned the team. It doesn't. Still...
Right, but I'm not saying that's a reason why they're doing it. But I'm saying it's another revenue stream, so that can't hurt. And on top of it, here's the real truth here. If Dan Snyder did not come out this week and say, or I don't even know if he came out and said it, if word doesn't
it was a release, yeah.
Oh, they put out a press release, right?
Correct.
Said that they were going to look at it. If Dan Snyder doesn't do it, I guarantee you Paul Dolan's not doing it right now either.
No. And look, and I've been through this, and we've been over this time and time again, and I talked about it when I filled in on Friday morning for the morning show on 92.3. Redskins is a slur. It has been a slur forever. Their previous owner, going way back before Jack Kent Cooke and And Dan Snyder was this racist guy that barred and banned African Americans from playing, and all their history is riddled, unfortunately, with racism. And the word red skin is a slur. I mean, imagine having a team called the White Skins or the Black Skins. You never would. So I can see why it's way overdue for the Washington football team, and they're called the Washington football team by Jim Nantz, who refuses to say Redskin, by Peter King, others in the D.C. area. Indians, I'm having a hard time with it because I don't like the term cancel culture. It makes my skin crawl. It seems to be very popular right now. But in this sense, it's like, you look back at the history, I get it. Joe Posnanski, Anthony Kastrovitz, they've written, Todd, that the Indians were not named after Luis Sockalexis, the first Native American player. It just so happened to be that he was on the previous team, the Cleveland Naps, and it just so happened that these sports writers picked Indians. That's kind of a myth now, and it's been sort of clarified. But regardless, to me, there's not a real negative connotation unless there's a big group of Native Americans saying it's got to go. And I guess if Tito's saying it's got to go and the team's ready to move on, we got to deal with it. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. It's not a slur. Does that make me a bad person and a racist? I don't think so.
It's not a slur to you, but it is a slur. Okay, but it is a slur to people. It is.
Right. No, to some, for sure.
It is. And so who are we to be the arbiters of what is offensive to someone else's group? I mean, that's where I know it's not offensive to you, but I mean, I'm at the point now where if it's going to bother somebody, if it's bothering a group of people, and then it should go. I have no problem with it. Now here, if you talk to, so this isn't the Florida State Seminoles, or that is they honoring the Seminole tribe. Okay,
correct.
So that is a different situation entirely. For years, every single year, and I know you talked about this when you did the show last week on 92.3, every year, and I still see it on opening day, there were always the group of American Indians protesting. And, 20 years ago when I would see it, I would be like, these people need to get over it. They're a bunch of clowns. But guess what? I get it. I totally get it. I have evolved as a human being, and I see that is offensive to them. And I listened this morning to Terry Pluto, who said he has, over the years, spoken to many different people from many different Indian tribes who have all found it offensive.
Really?
So, yeah. And
that's the thing. But I think the Indians are doing the right thing. Sit down with a bunch of different groups and really get the story. Really get the story. Are they offended or not? And if they are, and you walk out of that meeting or meetings and say, wow, we need to make the change, then do it. I think right now we're in such a black and white area with you hate the president, you love the president. He did this, or you hate this, you love that. You're on this side. Why can't we have a discussion? Why can't the Indians sit down with Native American groups and others and hash it out? And maybe come up with a plan where Chief Wahoo goes away forever, not even in the team store, not anywhere, not just the uniform, and they stay with the name. Maybe that'll happen, but it's almost
maybe
like
they have already, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, well, then someone needs to come out and say that. But it's
because I just think that to me, we are at the point in time where, yes, people get offended by stuff, and certain stuff doesn't offend other people, and yada, yada, yada. But I think that the time to change it is now, and I am totally on board with the change. Now, I'm sure we will talk about names in general, because some of them are horrible. Some of them are just okay. Nothing has really grabbed me yet. But I am all for the change. I think it's time. I know that you were still okay with Chief Wahoo a lot longer than I was. And I haven't worn Wahoo in years. I remember on Twitter 5 years ago, I put out a picture of all of my Indians hats. I have like 6 or 7 different ones, and they're all block C's. And I was like, and it was just like an innocuous, like, I think I got an Indians hat problem. And I was absolutely destroyed by one person after another going, "Oh, I don't see any cheap Wahoo hats. Oh, Mr. PC without any cheap Wahoo hats." And I've been telling you, it was one after another. Not, wow, that's a lot of Indians hats. It was, where's Chief Wahoo?
Right.
And when I still see people wearing that gigantic old 1948 absolutely racist caricature, it stuns me. And they still sell at the team shop. And it's like they're going to, they said, "Oh, we're not going to put it on our uniforms anymore." They still sell some old
Correct.
stuff at the team
Yeah,
shop, which is stupid. So, and you know what? You can call me what you want. You want to say, "Oh, yeah, it's typical liberal," whatever. This is how I feel. And if you want to wear Chief Wahoo, that's fine. I don't. But then when I see that absolute fucking moron clown who wears the headdress and holds up that
that's right,
95,
right. That's ridiculous.
He still walks around with it, and he's such an asshole, and I want to punch him in his fucking face. He still walks around.
I know.
The stadium, I haven't seen him this year, obviously, because there's no games, but he was still walking around last year with that gigantic Chief Wahoo sign, and anybody that crossed him, he was like going off on. So I was done with Chief Wahoo a long time ago, and I'm glad the team stepped back from it. But again, all of this comes back to the fact that I think that they're doing the right thing.
It's tough. It's like I said, to me, Redskins is a slam dunk. It's a slur. It's time. Enough's enough. I'm not 100% yet ready to let this go and agree with you. I think that there needs to be some discussion. I think the Indians are doing the right thing by putting out a statement last Friday and saying we're going to look into this. We're going to sit down, because that's how things need to be done these days. There needs to be some discussion, and jumping to every conclusion on every given thing. Today I saw, and again, it's one thing if you, me, and Jeremy are texting, or you, me, and Seth Forrest are texting and going, "Up, shut down baseball," they're stupid. That's just us being guys and being friends. It's another thing where people on social media say, okay, the Oakland A's are having issues with their testing, and people respond, baseball writers, with, that's it. Just shut it down. Well, hold on a second. Let's see what's happening. Like Major League Baseball today, and we'll talk about this, came out and said, we've addressed the delays. We don't expect a recurrence. MLB is a disaster. They are so poorly run, and it's right up there with our federal government. So, wake up and get this right before you're going to institute a rule and have players together and have social distancing and everything else. Hopefully this is just one hiccup and they can play. You don't think they will. And I can't really blame you with all the flare-ups that we're having in this country with the return of the virus. But let's just wait and see for a second before we jump to every conclusion. And I hope the Indians figure it out. They're not going to change their name right away.
Yes,
but
that was exactly what I was going to say. Here's the thing: you just said, we need to have a discussion. They're going to have a discussion, because this isn't like tomorrow they're going to announce, "Hey, we're the Cleveland Spiders tomorrow." This is going to happen over the next, I would imagine, 6 months. I can't imagine that they're just going to, come up and announce a name this fast. I mean, I would imagine
that would be stupid. Let's
thinking of, especially considering the fact that. The Redskins just came out with this, and from what we gather, yes, the Indians have been having internal conversations, but as you and I just have discussed, I don't think they come out with a statement unless the Redskins had done that first. So, the Indians were probably going to be the Indians until the Washington football team made their move.
I'm assuming the Braves are going to have a discussion. I'm assuming the Blackhawks in the NHL are going to have a discussion. I mean, that's an assumption on my part, but... do
the Braves they don't use Chief Osceola anymore, do they? Or no, is Chief Osceola, is that Florida State or is that the Braves? Didn't they the Braves had a chief character?
Yes, they did.
Chief Nakahoma.
Yeah, they don't do that. No, they don't do that.
No, that was a long time ago. Yeah. That has to be gone, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
According to betonline.ag in Vegas, here's the name odds. Spiders 3-1, Naps 4-1, Guardians 5-1, Buckeyes 6-1, the Cleveland Dobies, named after Larry Doby, 7-1, Wild Things 8-1. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Wild Things. Oh my Lord.
Blue Sox 9-1. Cleveland Rocks 10-1. If it's Cleveland Rocks, you can forget. I'll cash in my chips and I'll walk away. The Cuyahogas 15-1. The Crows or Rockers 20-1. Unions 25-1. Fellers 33-1, and Great Lakers 40-1. I don't like any of those. None.
I just
Zero.
want to be the Union so you and I can say there's no leaks in the Union. I'm kidding. Okay, so let's go over these one by one, and I want to get your opinion.
All of these?
What was it?
Well, spiders. Everybody thinks. Everybody.
Spiders first.
I don't.
On the spiders.
I hate it.
You hate it?
Yeah.
It's a strong word.
It's lame. Spiders? That's what it's going to be.
Why is it lame? Like,
number one, do you remember when now again, we don't remember because none of us were alive, but when the spiders were the spiders in the late 1800s, the team was so bad.
Oh, come on. You know who you sound like? Greg Brinda. Come on.
Brinda.
He's like, wait, hold on. Seriously.
He said that?
What if they were bad in the 1800s? No one was alive. Shit.
I don't know. The whole thing is stupid.
I don't mind the spiders. Like the
really?
Richmond Spiders. I always thought was a cool name.
I saw the logo with the block C like in the back
with
of the
spider arms.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, that sucks." I didn't think it was that bad. My boy Gage Will thought it was terrible. I thought it was kind of cool, but that's just me. I don't mind spiders. If it's the spiders, I don't mind it.
What about now? This isn't on the list, and Pluto wrote today it won't happen. But what about just calling them the tribe?
Yeah, he said that on with Carmen and Lyman this morning that they want to move away from all this stuff. So I would love it if they were just the tribe. I would love that. But
a tribe of people. A tribe of people doesn't have to have any Native American connotation.
Well, there's also, right now with the tribal politics that are going on. I don't know if that's the greatest usage. So. Listen, I'm all for that. That would be my choice, but I just don't think that it's going to happen. That's just me.
I'm moving to Canada. Going to take my... I'm out of here. I'm out of here soon. I can't do it much longer. I really can't. I'm just so...
Let's not get into that conversation.
So disgusted.
Let's go back to the names, okay?
Hey, did you have a great 4th? God bless America.
All right. All right.
Shut up. Oh.
Okay.
Hey, all right.
All right. So, what was next after the spiders? What?
Naps.
So after Nap Lajoie, is that what?
Right. Yeah.
That is the connotation there.
Uh huh.
I mean, I would only say that I would like to chant "Let's go nap" just because I love to sleep so much.
I don't think, but I don't think that's going to fly.
Naps is kind of weird. Like, what's the logo for a nap?
I don't know.
And a blanket and a pillow.
Right. I mean, and when we're losing 10-1, how many people are just going to jump all over that?
That's right. Time for a nap. Take a nap, or is it naps after Mike Napoli?
That'd be pretty cool. Guardians 5-1. What is that? What does that have to do with Cleveland? Guardians?
I don't understand that either. But Guardians doesn't sound that terrible to me. I could live with Guardians. I could.
Buckeyes.
I could. Here's what I'm going to say about Buckeyes. And this is going to be very unpopular, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't like Ohio State football.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not a huge fan of their fan base. So therefore, I don't. And listen, the great Brian Silver, guy's like a brother to me. He knows this already. Big Buckeye fan. My boy Mike Dolan, huge Buckeye fan. Cleve TA, big Buckeye guy. Those are all high quality. My neighbor Mike Goldstein. These are all high quality big Buckeye.
Sure,
fans.
yeah. I mean, you're in Ohio. That's the team.
But for the most part, that fan base is Yahoo Central. I mean, it really is. And I didn't think so until I moved back here after being in Chicago. And so, therefore, I think the Buckeyes should remain the Buckeyes, as in Ohio State. That's
right, and that's it. Right,
that should not be my baseball team.
Now, people are talking about, we could go through all these, but anything with rocks or rockers, I just think is so lame. Cleveland Rocks, and then rockers, I'll think of rockers as soccer. Stop.
No. Rockers was the WNBA team.
There was a Detroit Rockers soccer team. Sorry.
No. It is the Cleveland Rockers with the WNBA.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no.
Who was the coach of the WNBA Cleveland Rockers? Let's see if you can come up with that.
I did a game at the Q.
I know you did.
When it was
you
the
were
Shock.
The voice of the WNBA
Detroit Shock.
Team. Like, I can't think of
the
name
Shock.
of the team.
The Shock.
The Shock.
Yes. Bill Laimbeer won a championship. A couple of them as head coach of the Detroit Shock. Who was the coach of the Rockers? No idea. Who was it?
Dan Hughes.
Yes. Nice man. He was also the coach of the Charlotte Sting. Look that up. Dawn Staley played on that team.
Do you know who the most famous? The only other thing I remember about the Rockers was they had that woman, Susie McConnell-Serio. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I remember her. It was her and Jen.
Oh, jeez. We're really... Jennifer Azzi? Was Jennifer Azzi on the Rockers?
No. Jen Rosati? Does that sound like a real person?
Yeah, Jennifer Rosati. Yeah, she was a point guard. For sure.
Okay. Yeah. Those are the only people I remember.
I have some crazy Shock stories from the road, like Nancy Lieberman Klein. Like there was, oh man, that'll be in my book.
Boy, this is a side. We just took a hard left turn.
Yes. I mean, these other ones do nothing for me. The Blue Sox, no, because then they're going to be like, oh, Sox against the Sox.
It could end up being the Blue Sox. I have a sneaky feeling that it could be. There's some sort of tie. Like, if you want to do Sock Alexis, it could be Blue Sox. But to have Blue Sox, Red Sox, and White Sox is weird,
too much.
Right?
Too much.
Yeah. I am okay with the Guardians. I'm okay with the Spiders. I really think that they should put it out to, I don't want to say fan vote, but have someone, local artists, let's see the best renderings you can come up with and make it some sort of contest. And, I just don't want it to be too much of like a weird minor league-ish type of name.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Yeah, that's a tough part for sure.
That's why the Cleveland Wild things would be really stupid.
It's beyond stupid. Yet that was only 8-1.
Do you have any suggestions?
No, I don't. I think Cleveland Tribe. But I get it's not going to be that. I get it. To me, saying tribe and saying we're not doing any Native American connotations, we're staying as the tribe. I mean, come on. How can you not love that song? Hey, let's go. Tribe time now.
Come on. It's tribe time. We're going to have to get a new song.
Brian Motze back at Network Control. Motz, come on.
What about Indian Fever? Be a believer.
Yeah, that's gone.
With the drum?
Gone.
You mean John Adams can't play the drum anymore?
No. Why not? Let's let John Adams at least still do that.
I'm making a joke.
Oh, I know. Oh, man.
Do people remember Indian Fever? Everyone who listens to this is probably, 75% of these people probably never heard Indian Fever. What a great song that was.
It's a classic.
So good.
Absolute
With the
classic.
drum at the beginning and the end.
And some just bad teams. Bad teams.
What about Go Joe Charbonneau? Another great song.
Who's the newest guy in town? Isn't he the most overrated sports figure in Cleveland history?
Well, I think now because of all of his...
he still does appearances and still...
hijinks. Yeah, I mean, he had one good season. When he
so
won
overrated.
the AL Rookie of the Year in 19, was it 80 or 81?
81.
So since we're talking songs, would you say Indian Fever is better or worse than Michael Stanley singing "Hard Working Town, Hard Working Team"?
No, I'll take Indian Fever. Like, no offense to MSB, but I please let's keep Michael Stanley away from this, please.
What about The Tribe? This is my team. Remember that one?
Not bad.
That didn't last very
Tribe 85.
Yeah, that didn't last very long. And then the Browns, the Browns, you probably don't even know this, but I think when they came back, Michael Stanley wrote a new Browns song, "Here We Go Again." Have you ever heard it?
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Here we go again, because it's Cleveland Browns and it's 1st and 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Just brutal. I was talking to somebody the other day, maybe, I don't know if it was my wife or Albert or one of these people. And
Albert Bell?
Albert Dale.
I'm
Sorry.
kidding.
The greatest engineer in the world, radio engineer in the world. And I made some comment like, hey, Tribe in 2020, this is happening. We can do this. And I don't remember, was it my wife or was it Albert said, remember Tribe in 05? I'm like, okay. Like, that was 15 years ago. I was walking around every day.
The Tribe was 15 years ago. Our team was so good. Really, we would have won the World Series if we would have won the division. I really, truly believe that. I mean, the White Sox won the World Series that year.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Ozzie gave us the choke sign.
Whew, that's savage.
Oh God, that was something.
That's pretty savage. I got to be honest. That's pretty good. All right, so what about this? So you are still, Matt and Todd, by the way, this is the Dery Brothers Tribecast, waitingfornextyear.com. I want to talk about if we're going to have baseball or not. We're doing the show now. The schedule's coming out later. We know this.
The schedule release for the season, that's probably not going to happen.
We know this. The Indians will not open against the Tigers or the Red Sox, or the Reds. The Tigers are reportedly, according to Anthony Fennick from the Free Press, going to be opening in Cincinnati. So no Cleveland Reds and no Tribe Tigers, at least at the beginning. Not that it matters. They're going to play all these teams anyway. But I want to get your take on if we're going to even have these games. But first, you got to tell us about Dr. Ben Hornstein.
Oh, God. There's nothing can get me excited about going to the dentist except for Dr. Ben Hornstein and his absolute dedication to his craft and to his patients. When I tell you, they have come up with state-of-the-art equipment and a brand new way of doing dentistry that will make you feel relaxed, safe, and feeling good when you leave there. Listen, everybody is, on high alert right now. We're all wearing our masks. Wear your masks, everyone. Walking into a dentist's office, obviously you got to be you're in your head thinking somebody's going to be up close to me with with my right up in my face with their hands in my mouth, and I don't want to do it. Listen, they will take great care of you. Sandy, who has been a hygienist there forever, Sandy's got the mask on, and she's got the face shield on, and she's wearing gloves, and she's taking extra care and being extra careful to make sure that you feel safe, and she's doing her job to the best that she can possibly do. They have air filtration systems throughout. When you get there for your appointment, you call in and you say, I'm here, and they will text you or call you back and say, okay, now come in. You're not walking past anybody. You're in your own pod. They make you feel really comfortable and at home. And if you're looking for a dentist on the east side, please go check them out. The Center for Advanced Dentistry, CFAD.net, or on Twitter at CFAD Beechwood. And on top of it, Dr. Ben is a great guy, even greater Tribe fan. And if you want to talk Cleveland sports, he's more than happy to do that with you, socially distanced with masks, might I add. But check him out, FAD.net or at CFAD Beechwood on Twitter.
All right, we're back. More of the Tribecast here on a Monday. So the Indians have started, Todd, working out, and we saw the socially distant batting practice picture today with Jose Ramirez, Lindor, Mercado, and Tito, who is wearing a mask. The Indians are doing the best they can. Delano DeShields is the one player we know that's tested positive for COVID. Other teams have had positive tests, like Freddie Freeman of the Braves. There's a chance Mike Trout might not even play. Other players have opted out already. I saw today Nick Markakis of the Braves said, yeah, I'm good. I'm not doing this year. But the biggest issue is, will testing work to the point where players that have that are sick and not feeling well, will they get tested, and will the results be going fast enough? Teams like the A's, Giants, and even the Angels aren't sure they're even going to work out today, tomorrow, because the testing hasn't come back yet. Like, that's ridiculous.
It is absolutely comical that a billion-dollar corporation who has everything at their disposal can't get their testing act together. I mean, listen, the testing in this country is a serious problem, and that's another conversation for a different podcast. But how come the NBA can get this done immediately? Like, let's go back to March when Rudy Gobert tested positive. Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz, everyone knows him now. He will be known forever as basically the guy who turned sports off because he was the first major sports player to test positive. Now, that night, and this is back in March when no one could get tests, the NBA had access to tests that they were getting back pretty much right away because all those players were tested. And then the next day you heard Donovan Mitchell had tested positive. So if they are able to do that, how does Major League Baseball, in formulating their plan, not get themselves hundreds of thousands of tests with all of the money that they have at their disposal and say each team every day we have enough tests for, there's 60 players. We have 60 tests per day that we can give to every single one of these players. How do they not have a stash of that? It's beyond words. I don't understand it. If you're 18 years, if you live in New York, I know anybody can get a test at any time for the most part. Ohio is a completely different story. But if you're over 18, they're in Ohio, and there are certain places you can go. Like I know there's CVS and Rite Aid where they can get tests. Now, again,
when do you get the results back?
But that's the thing. Some people it takes 2 days. Some people it takes 8 days. I've been waiting on my kids for their camp, for their COVID tests, which getting tests for someone under the age of 18, as I've told you, is next to impossible around here. I'm supposed to wait 8 days to get my test back for my kids, which is ridiculous. But in New York, I know that they got their test back within 5 days. It's kind of basically it's this. If you have the means, you can get the testing and the testing back relatively quickly. And so Major League Baseball should have that. How do they not have that? How is it that I saw Martin Maldonado plays for the Astros, right? I don't know who he's on now. He was on the Astros last year, the catcher.
Correct. I don't know where he is. I think he's back with Houston, yeah.
Okay. I saw today he tweeted, I took a test on Friday. I still don't have my results, and they want me to take another test today. What's the point of taking that test? Why am I doing that again when they don't even have my other test? How does Major League Baseball not have a lab that they own, that the tests go immediately to the lab and they get the results back in a few hours?
You would think these professional sports leagues, if they're going to dip their toes in this very, very hot water and try this, that they would have this down to where they were handling this correct. I mean, like you said, Astros, Nationals, A's, a handful of teams are saying we're not getting our results back, so we can't put our players on the field to practice. Well, how are you going to play games in a couple of weeks?
That's right. So today we are recording this on Monday, July 6th. So the week after next is the first games, the 23rd. So in 2 weeks, we're supposed to expect these teams that can't get their act together, or the league that can't get its act together, to test people. They're just going to start playing games?
Right, please, and there's going to be more people in the stadium. Right now in the stadium, and the Indians didn't let the media in until today, but when they get the games running, there are going to have to be cameramen and women. There's going to have to be people running wires to make sure the broadcast works. There's going to be more people in the stadiums that I'm assuming are going to be tested too. In the building. That may get, they might not get close enough. Maybe everybody's in masks. I don't know. But, MLB came out today and said, quote, "We have addressed the delays and do not expect a recurrence." But how can you believe anything they say? They're the ones that said, Manfred said, it's going to be a 60-game season anyway. But 2 weeks earlier, he offered 82 games to the players. He's a liar. He's a liar.
They also can't guarantee. Nobody can guarantee anything because we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right. In the world, let alone baseball.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. Like, Manfred, I guess, went on Dan Patrick last week and said, it was always going to be 60 games. That was pretty much all we could do. And then when that went and ran wild, he was like, what I meant was because of COVID.
Right.
Except that's not
That's
true.
not what you said.
Was totally exposed.
Oh, yeah.
The master negotiator, Rob Manfred, is a clown.
That's the thing, is you look at Adam Silver and you say, all right, he wants to build this bubble in Florida. Immediately, if any player on any of these NBA teams is found testing positive, which their testing comes back very quickly, they immediately shut down these facilities. The Bucks did it. The Kings did it. The Nuggets did it. and they're shutting these facilities down, and they're quarantining the heck out of these guys now, then getting them on an airplane over the next couple of days and getting them down to Florida. They're doing the best they can. With baseball, it's just kind of like, whoop, fly by the seat of our pants. So when the Indians, go to Chicago, and is that Francisco Lindor in a mask hanging out at Gene and Giorgetti's? I mean, who is he out in public? Is he getting food? Are they told to just get food? Do they have people running to get them food and bring it into the hotel? What's the protocol? Doesn't sound like there is one. Whereas for the NBA, that bubble is going to be sealed pretty tight.
Well, here's the thing about the bubble. I heard today, yes, the players are all going to be in it, but the workers are all going to be coming and going. So it's not really a bubble, if that's the case. So there's that. But it's still at least more organized than baseball, which is, these guys are, like you said, the Indians are going to have charter plane, and they're going to tell them to stay in the hotel. If you think that throughout the entire sport, these guys who travel and are used to being out and about and everything, if you think that these guys aren't going to sneak away and get out, you are fooling yourself. Of course they're going to. These guys are going to go get food. These guys are going to go out. Of course they are.
They're going to go get something else, too.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, and that's lie. And again, we're in a place where, you're seeing videos all the time all over social media, whether it was this weekend with 4th of July, people out partying, people on top of one another, people dancing in large groups, whether it's outdoors or not social distancing. It's almost like, we're just, and Quandre Diggs said it best, the Seattle Seahawks player. He said, I'm from Texas, and I'm noticing that in Texas, we didn't handle this right because we're arrogant, because we thought we could beat this thing by just ignoring it. And it's the arrogance of our people, of Texans, of everybody, that now we're getting hit hard because we just thought, it's not going to happen to me, so I'm just going to go party. I'm just going to go hang out with a bunch of people. I'm going to go in the bars and not wear a mask. And, give baseball credit. They're trying. I will give them credit for that. They're trying to have a plan, and they're going to do the best they can. But you're right. Todd, if 15, 20 guys are on a road trip, how are you going to get all this entire taxi squad? You have to cancel games, and then it won't even be a real season.
And then that's going to happen. You can't tell me that it's not, because you don't think that they'll be playing 2 games and then so-and-so, they're going to test every day or test every other day, and so-and-so tested positive, so now he was next to so-and-so on the charter, and now we have to remove both of them for 2 weeks. We can't play tomorrow because, tomorrow's starting. We don't have enough players. I know they have the 60-man, roster that they're pulling from, but it's just – what I also don't want is, hey, we've made it through, and we get to October, and it's like, Nolan Jones hasn't had an at-bat, but everybody's sick, and now it becomes Nolan Jones has to play. How is that even legitimate?
Right, in the playoffs. Right. Oh, yeah. You just don't know. But you hope that you hope somehow, some way, this seems to work out. But I'm with you. I don't have a ton of faith. I think they'll start it. I know you say they won't. I think they'll start the season, but I don't know if they're going to get through the whole thing. I don't.
I just look up and say this is supposed to happen in 2 weeks, and these guys have barely had 3 practices or 2 practices together. They're gonna start games right away.
Shout out to the new reliever David Hernandez for his video yesterday, videoing the entire at bat of Mike Clevenger versus Francisco Lindor. That was fun to watch. Appreciated that.
There you go. Yeah, that was very cool. I also saw one today that the Indians put out, and I don't know if this has always been the case, but because you could never tell, but it looked like Frankie was hitting from both sides of the plate, and he had different bats for being righty and different and being lefty.
I did not notice that. That's on their
interesting tidbit.
Where is that?
It was on their Instagram story.
Gotcha. All right, I have to check that out. Although I'm not on Instagram. Although my wife's like, if you don't get on Instagram, you're missing everything that your niece and nephew say. I'm like, oh, geez. She's a big fan of your kids on Instagram.
Well, check her today. Make sure that the missus shows you that one.
Oh man,
you'll enjoy it.
Crazy. All right, well, that'll wrap this up. I mean, we don't really have any news on the team. I mean, other than Delino DeShields not being there, Tito thinks that they should change the name. We know Shane Bieber's going to start opening day. Clevenger looks healthy. Carrasco looks healthy. But until they start playing intra-squad games, or I think they said they were going to try to play some exhibition games with other teams, we still don't really know anything about how this is all going to play out.
I don't know how it's all going to play out. I still don't believe, like I said it before, I'll say it again. I will believe that this actually happens on July 24th when I see it with my own eyes.
Yep, I agree. And, we just miss sports so much. But again, we've gone backwards with this handling of the virus, and it's sad. It is, because I'm used to it now. I'm ready. I know we're all going to be locked in and for a long time. I'm kind of resigned to it. I just, I'm sad for my kids. I'm sad for my son, who's supposed to be a freshman in college. Will his experience be a real experience? That's who I'm most sad for.
Yeah, me too. I think about it all the time. Really. I mean, we're fine here in our homes and with our devices and stuff. And, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's just going to be kind of a year or a year and a half of our lives that we'll hopefully look back on one day and laugh. But for people, like Jason, like, these people that are, graduating high school and moving on to college, or, and they can't get that experience, or even if you're a senior in college and you're now done, and what are you going to do? Where are you going to get a job? I mean, moving back in with your parents and doing nothing is really all you can do at this point, which is really sad. But I don't know, man. Real depressing stuff, right?
Really, I know this place that sells really unique stuff. It's called Really Unique Stuff.
Really Unique Stuff.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if there's any movement in a couple of weeks here, and we'll come back on, and we'll know tonight what the schedule looks like. Who even knows where the Indians are going to start, where they're going to play, how many games they're going to get in. It is, like you said, a total crapshoot. Total crapshoot. I feel bad for some of these teams that have to go to these teams in the AL West that have to go and play Texas. These teams in the NL West that have to go play Arizona.
They're going to have to play both. Both of those divisions.
Yeah, Astros too.
AL West,
yeah,
NL West. They have to go to both places.
So. All right, buddy. That was fun.
Pleasure was all mine.
All right, there he is, Todd Dery. Matt Dery with you. This has been another installment and edition of the Dery Brothers Tribecast, brought to you by waitingfornextyear.com. That's where you find us, and also the Center for Advanced Dentistry, Dr. Ben Hornstein. Go Spiders.